1 second. I'm about to make me some tea. And we're going to get started. Oh my goodness, we have ourselves a class today. Oh boy. Rami, what are you getting into this time? There you go again. Here you go again. Rami always doing something. But before I start, I said, let me play a little tune or two. Well, I'm going to play one song, but get us in the mood. We in the pocket now. 1 second.
I'm stopping now.
Oh, wait.
Seven's up in this mother. Yeah. Hey, where my Moors at?
Where my Moors at?
A long time ago, there was one man. And he came to teach Moors who was being called Negroes and Blacks.
Two.
And you see, it was sort of like this guy, three wise men used to speak about way, way, way back in the day. Three. And he was for love instead of hate. Four. And he stood on 5 principles. 5. It was love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All right. And no disrespect to the 6th guy. That's 6. But this man here, he was rolling with them 7s.
Oh, yeah.
He was rolling with them 7s. Yeah, he was rolling with them 7s.
Oh, wait.
Now we rolling with them 7s. Yeah, we rolling with the 7s. Put them up.
Put them up.
7's up. If you rolling with the 7s.
Noble Drew Ali was one of the greatest men to come among us. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Noble Drew Ali, that was his name. To help us know ourselves, that's why he came. Yeah, I used to be so angry, spitting flame. But once I seen the light, that is when it changed. Once you know the truth, it change your wise. You can see our people for we are, not the lies. Now I understand why they try and keep us lost. Our ancestors great, man, they really had the sauce. They gave hella knowledge, hella culture to the world. They're trying to make us slaves, but y'all ain't keep it there. Without even knowing, making gold out of dirt. We always showing love, that's probably why it hurt. My people wanna chill, my people want serenity. And it seem like you want some more enemies. We all about love, we all about peace. Throw them 7s up when you see us in the streets. Yes, you know we throw them 7s. Hit them with the help. But you know this feel like hell. Oh yeah, 7's up, right there. 7's up, right there.
See, when you understand the spiritual nature of the 7 and how it manifests all around us, it will allow us to understand our divine nature. It must be challenging for others to understand who we are. You know, they place labels on us, try to identify us in ways that remove us from our divinity, calling us everything outside of who we truly are. And what happens when we identify with the name or label that someone else has given us? We forget our divinity, who we truly are. See, the thing about language is that it has the same dual nature as everything else. It can be beautiful, but at the same time, it can be stifling to our nature. So when we identify with something that limits us to the material realm, it strips us of our divinity. We are beyond labels. We are made in Supreme's likeness. Wake up, divine man. You are creators with the same likeness. See, a divine man represents the will. And when a divine man has the will to do something, and he directs his will with the spiritual power of the divine woman, oh, the beauty in what you can create. Everything around us is because we created it. Let's get back to that. Back to conscious creativity. I will honor your highest expression, your divinity. We're waiting on you, divine man.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salam Mel. I thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. We have ourselves a class. I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, make some people uncomfortable, but truth is truth. We got to be truthful. We got to be honest, man. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Got this tea going. We did this a couple times. Get this thing right. You feel me? I hope you're doing well out there, wherever you are. It was a beautiful Thursday out here in Khalifa, California, Oakland to be exact. And I've been seeing online, on the social medias and such, some Moors who still are pushing this mentality of blaming the European, the so-called white man, for all of our issues. And more specifically, I saw a person make a post earlier asking, can European people, or quote-unquote white people, join the Moorish Science Temple of America? And a bunch of Moorish Americans were like, nope, 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 nope. And I said, we still on this nonsense, huh? And so I asked people a very specific question, and I'm going to ask you right now. Where in the Holy Quran, Circle 7, the Moorish literature, where in any of the documents and the writings and the teachings that Noble Drew Ali brought us, does it state, does it cite, does it say, does it read that Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Please show me the evidence. Please show me where it is. I don't need you to give me your interpretation. I don't need you to give me your opinion. I don't want your assumptions. I don't want how you feel about the situation, where such and such has said and taught you about the situation. Where did Noble Drew Ali, which is the prophet, a universal prophet, which is key, we'll get back to that, but he is the prophet, the person, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where did he say that European people, so-called white people, cannot, are forbidden, are prohibited, are not allowed to join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Very straightforward and simple question. Please show me where that is. And I've asked this to several different people. I actually made a video about this some years ago, but I said, no, it's important. Let's get back to it right now. And every time I ask that, people say, oh, well, Act 6 of the Constitution, it says, and Chapter 47, it says such and such and such. I said, hey, man, I didn't ask about amalgamation. I didn't ask about your assumptions and, proclaiming a nationality. I said, where did Noble Drew Ali state or cite that European people, so-called white people, cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? I don't need you to explain it for me. Just point me to the statement that he said that. And I'll read it for myself, because as Noble Drew Ali taught me, and as he taught all of us, man knows not by being told. I don't need you to tell me. I don't want you to tell me. What I'm asking, where is the evidence? Anybody, if you got it, drop it in the chat. I'll wait a little bit. I'll get my tea going. But I asked this about 4 or 5 years ago. None of the Moorish Americans, none of the Grand Sheiks, none of the people that you see making YouTube videos, none of the people on social media, Facebook and all of that, none of them could provide that statement from Noble Drew Ali. And do you know why? Brothers and sisters, do you know why they are not able to? Because he never said that. That's the simple answer. Noble Drew Ali never said that European people cannot join. Didn't say it. If he did teach it, please just cite where it is. What chapter? In the Moorish literature, what section? I got it right here. I can look it up. I provided the link so other people can look it up. Just put it out for everyone to see because truth doesn't change or pass away, right? So it should be very clear. Doesn't need you to interpret. Nah, I don't need no middleman. Nah, I don't need you to put no extras on it. No, thank you. Provide the evidence. Peace, peace, peace to the people watching. I'm looking. I don't see anything. I don't see nobody saying nothing. Right. So let's get to some of the things that you may come across. And this is also for our European brothers and sisters. They may be looking on the outside, be afraid to comment. They may want to help, but they feel like, oh, I can't be a part of this because look what happens. Look what they're saying. For the Moorish Americans, for the Moors that are out there, they may be confused and they see this. They're like, oh, man, so it's this black versus white, Moor versus European thing, huh? No, but we're going to get to it so that we can break it down, clear up any confusion. Let's go with Act 6 of the Divine Constitution. Let's go with that first. Let's handle that. Because people always throw that one out. See, it says clearly in Act 6, brother. What about Act 6? He said it in Act 6. Well, what does Act 6 say? It's from the Divine Constitution and Bylaws for the Moorish Science Temple of America. Laws we're supposed to follow. Let's read together what it says. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. That doesn't say anywhere in that piece Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Doesn't say that. It says with us, all members, so whoever is a member must proclaim their nationality. For example, if they are Nigerian, if they are Eritrean, if they are Brazilian, if they are Puerto Rican, they must proclaim their nationality. Or if they're from Ireland, let's keep going. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colors were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. That is all of Act 6. Nowhere in there does it say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, if you are trying to take that Act 6 and interpret that and put your spin on that, then say that more. Say that. Say, yeah, I understand what Act 6 says, but I believe this is what it means. And then you stand on your opinion, your belief. But it does not say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. It doesn't say that in Act 6. Did I misread something? Is there a part that I didn't read of Act 6? Okay. Another one that I hear often. Chapter 48, and this is coming from the Holy Quran itself. Chapter 48, and this was brought to us and prepared to, divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali, a universal prophet, but came specifically for Moorish Americans, for so-called Negroes, so-called black people, because we needed him the most, but a universal prophet. Chapter 48, line number 6. This is one that I hear people say often. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. I'm going to read that again. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Does that sentence say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Brothers and sisters, did you hear those words? Can you see those words on that line, chapter 48, line 6? No, it says, we, a clean and pure nation, do not desire, look up what the word desire means, to amalgamate. Matter of fact, let's get that out. Going into the dictionary now, so that you can't say, oh, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to get to amalgamate, so that we understand what it says very clearly. Amalgamate. Look it up for yourself. Don't just believe it. See for yourself. Because man knows nothing by being told. If you've been told it, then you just told something. You just believe in what you was told. Amalgamate. Combine or unite to form one organization or structure. Amalgamate. To combine or unite to form one organization or structure. We, as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate, join, unify, unite as one structure or organization, or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. We don't desire to marry or amalgamate into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Does that say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Does it say that? No, but let me continue just in case you... Well, he didn't finish. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed and the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, I continue just so people can't say, well, you didn't keep reading. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we Moorish Americans are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. Does that say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Does it say that? No. No. Moorish American? No, it doesn't say that. Muslim, brother or sister, it does not say that. So stop lying about what Noble Drew Ali taught. Stop trying to mislead people about what Noble Drew Ali taught. It does not say that. So please stop saying and trying to imply and infer that him saying we do not desire to amalgamate and marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Quit trying to take that line and shift and morph that into saying Noble Drew Ali said European people cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. It does not say that. It doesn't even mean that in your twisted logic. It does. It's not. That's you. It's not you interpreting that is incorrect. Question everything. Are they joining as Moors? I'm confused. Moors are nationality, right? Incorrect. Question everything. Our nationality is Moorish American. Our nationality is Moorish American. Why? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. To your point, I'll get it. I'll get to, are they joining as more? Well, actually, no. It says, back to the divine constitution, with us all members must proclaim their nationality. It doesn't say with us all members must proclaim our nationality. All members must proclaim their nationality. So if you are an Asiatic, from the Philippines, you will proclaim your nationality, brother or sister. If you are from Tanzania, you will proclaim your nationality. If you are from China, Japan, you will proclaim your nationality. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality. Because we are the ones, so-called black people, so-called Negroes, are the ones that didn't know our nationality. But I'm going to get to even more of that just to solidify what I'm saying. I just wanted to get the amalgamation line out the way and also the Act 6 line out the way, because those are excuses and reasonings, incorrect reason and logic that I hear many Moors toss out there in an effort to confuse and distort the teachings of Noble Drew Ali. Because Noble Drew Ali did not say European people cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's just, unless you, if I'm mistaken, please show me. I got documents, I got the information. Please show me where he said it. I don't need the extra, I don't need all of that. Just put it forth for everyone to see. But you see, the people that say that, they cannot put that forth. Why? Because Noble Drew Ali didn't teach that. They're misleading. Some people are misleading sincerely. Some people are just outright lying. More. There you go. Back. As I was saying, you were one of the people that I asked very simply. Put forth the statement where Noble Drew Ali said European people cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. You cannot do so. I'm asking you now. Please put it forth for the people. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll give it a second. Yeah, you're out. I got that. I would imagine that you would dip. And see, I want you to take notice. I want you to take notice, brothers and sisters, people out there. Pay very close attention. Don't believe people just because they say something and they sound very convincing. Just because they sound like they know what they're talking about. Just because they wear fez and they're saying Islam and we honor the Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, blah, blah, blah. People say a lot of things. But what did Noble Drew Ali say? What did Noble Drew Ali teach? Can you put that forth so that people can see? And when you hold people to that standard, when you ask people specific questions like this, where did he ever say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Where did he say it? Just ask the people that claim to be so knowledgeable and just wait for the answer. And you will see, just like you've seen in the chat, and I've seen over the years, they don't have that. They are misleading people. They're incorrect. And rather than get out of their ego and their pride and just admit, you know what, I was incorrect on that. I thought it was this way, but I think I misunderstood. Rather than just admit that. Rather than admit, you know what, Noble Drew Ali never said that. They finagle and try to spin the words, and they want to put all this little extra on it, but that's not needed. The truth is the truth. It don't change or pass away. Now let's get to some of the things that Noble Drew Ali did say. It's very clear. Very clear. Prophet Noble Drew Ali speaks to the nations. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you, Moorish Americans? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish divine and national movement. Europeans are helping. That's interesting. That's interesting. Speaking of what Noble Drew Ali said, speaking of the Quran, let's open this up, shall we? Let's go to what is that chapter? The beginning of Christianity, chapter 46. Chapter 46, line 9. Let's read it together, shall we? Let's read it together. Chapter 46, line 9 reads, and I quote, all nations of the earth, all nations, that's plural, all nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace. But there is but one and true divine way that peace may be obtained in these days. And it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations in all lands. Okay. All nations of the earth. That would include European nations, correct? Because it says all nations. Okay. They're seeking peace. And it says there is but one and true divine way that peace may be obtained. And how is that? It's through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the 5 divine principles. More science, right? It is through the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. Now, does that line say to all Moorish nations in all African lands or Moorish lands? Does it say being taught universally to all nations in all lands except European nations and European lands and European people? No, it does not. Brothers and sisters, it does not say that. It says universally. Why? Because Noble Drew Ali was a universal prophet. So how can love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice be taught universally in all nations and in all lands? But then at the same time, you try to teach people that Noble Drew Ali said Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America, where we teach about love, truth, peace, freedom, and how does that work? That doesn't make sense, brothers and sisters. Moorish Americans. That doesn't make sense. That's not logical. All nations, all lands. All nations, all lands. Doesn't exclude European nations. But let's get back to the Moorish literature. What did I want to read next? I wanted to read yes. general law. Was it general laws? No. There it goes. Yes, it was. Think this over, you Moors. This is in the Moors literature. It says, think this over, you Moors. Listen very carefully. You're trying to play games with me today, but it's all good. Are we back? I think we back. All right. Back to what I was saying. Think this over, you Moors. The heads of all temples, grand sheikhs, grand sheikhesses must conform to the divine principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They must live the life among the members and be loved even as the prophet is loved. They must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. Look up this word segregation just so I make sure that I'm understanding what segregation means. See what it says, just to be sure. Because maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe I don't understand what segregation means. I thought I knew, but let me just double check. Segregation. The action or state of setting someone or something apart from other people or things, or being set apart. The enforced separation of different racial groups in a country, community, or establishment. Okay. Yeah, I understand it correctly. Got it. Oh, segregate. Set apart from the rest or from each other. Isolate or divide. Separate or divide people, activities, or institutions along racial, sexual, or religious lines. Got it. Segregation. When Noble Drew Ali said, not what I'm saying, not what I believe, not what I feel, no interpretation what Drew Ali said in the section of Moorish literature called "Think This Over, You Moors." It says, speaking to the heads of all temples, that they must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. You must not practice the principle of segregation. Do not segregate in the temple. Heads of the temple, grand sheiks. Think this over, you Moors. I ain't say it. Noble Drew Ali said it. You can look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. Now you see, when I talked about amalgamate, this is talking about joining into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Doesn't mention anything about the Moorish Science Temple of America and Europeans not being allowed to join. But what he did say is that we are not supposed to practice the principle of segregation among any group in the temple. So then how could someone who claims to be studying and honor Noble Drew Ali say that Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? That would be segregation. Yeah, Mercury retrograde. I did look amalgamate up. It's to join or unify. I'm not gonna get back into it, but we did look up amalgamate, and even understanding that That line specifically in the Quran is speaking about joining into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. It's not speaking about people joining the Moorish Science Temple of America. Understand that there's a difference. You can't apply it however you want to. But how about this segregation line? How about that? Anybody want to discuss that? Oh, but well, segregation is okay if we do it this. No, it says do not practice segregation. Noble Dry Lee said that, not me. Bring this down because I saw another one that I wanted to read to you. Ah, yes. Number 10. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. It is. Here we are. This is Noble Dry Lee again speaking, not Rami Salam Mel. It's not what I'm believing. It's not my opinion. I ain't make this up. I'm simply reading, and I can give you the link is, I already dropped it in, but let me drop it again, just in case you ain't know. Boom. There it goes. Moorish literature. You can find it for yourself. Okay? Divine warning by the prophet for the nations. Matter of fact, do I got another link for you? Boom. Yeah. Got an alternate link for you just in case. Bang, bang. Okay. So we're very clear. Okay. Let me read this. It says, I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Okay. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard because day by day they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. Right, we just want to get down to the last part there. Yes. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically. Here we go. And the last little piece here. It is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives a life. And I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. He mentioned Greeks and Italians and Arabians and some other nations, and asking them to help Noble Drew Ali to bring us out of darkness, to help us back into the constitutional fold. He spoke about, what did it say about proclaiming their nationality? If Italians, Greek, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. Talking about proclaiming their nationality. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. When you become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that doesn't change your nationality, and you don't just, that's not the point of becoming a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, is not solely to give anybody a nationality. It is a place where you can proclaim your nationality. Other nations are helping. Why not you? Why are you trying to segregate and stop other nations from helping us? Moorish American, what's your problem? Noble Drew Ali didn't say anywhere in here Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. In fact, he's saying that other nations are helping. So what's our problem? We the ones in the darkness. We the ones that need to get back into the constitutional fold of government. And again, back to the Quran, it says, love, true peace, freedom, and justice must be taught universally in all nations and in all lands for peace to be obtained in these modern days. So how does that work? How are you trying to say, no, Europeans can't join? But Noble Drew Ali is saying, hey, help me. I need y'all help, and all other true American citizens. I need your help because my people out here, they lost. Noble Drew Ali is pleading, divine plea to other nations because he's a universal prophet. Got this on also. This is the oral statements and prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. Now, I don't particularly like to depend just on this because it's what people are saying that he said, but I just want to put this out here just so that you understand. The Holy Prophet told the Moors, I have come and taken away all the excuses. Line 232. Brother J. Foster Bay of Temple number 4 and number 25 said, the Holy Prophet said, the European is our fellow man. Okay. And then a little bit further, it says in 237, the Holy Prophet told the Moors, if you want European grand sheiks, plural, I can give them to you. If you want European grand sheiks, I can give them to you. Multiple. Now, how would he give us European grand sheiks? How is that possible? Wouldn't they have to join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Or they just magically can come in and just be a grand sheik? Is that what you're trying to imply, he said? Oh, my goodness. Again, Noble Drew Ali speaks to the nation. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? Why not you? What's your issue, Moore? You got hate in your heart. You have hate in your heart. That's why you still think it's this European versus Moor thing. The true battle is within the lower self, which is in the Quran, correct? It's not talking about the quote unquote white man is the devil. It is saying the devil is your lower self. Glad I said that also. Well, see, I seen some people last time when we tried to help the European. Let's read what it says in chapter 47, line 17, or line 16. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. And that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and color was given to the Asiatics of America who were Moorish descent because they honored not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe whom they knew nothing of. The bigger point, we got to stop trying to put the blame, oh, the European, the white man, the white man. We have to stop that. It says very clearly our nationality was taken away because we, our ancestors, honor not the principles of our mothers and fathers. In the book, not my belief, not how I feel about it. This is what it says in the book. You say you study. So what are we really talking about? Talking about very simple. Love instead of hate. Europeans and other nations are helping Noble Drew Ali. Why not you, Moore? Get the hate out your heart. We're supposed to be uplifting fallen humanity, which includes European nations and European people. They are part of humanity. They are fellow man. Now, I'm not trying to hear your beliefs and your opinions on it. Look up the word humanity. What does humanity say? Does it say everybody but European people? No. Does it say we're supposed to uplift fallen humanity except for European people? No. It doesn't say that. And Noble Drew Ali was not teaching that Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. And the Moors, the Moorish Americans that are teaching that, are misinformed or they're intentionally lying. They're intentionally trying to teach segregation, which Noble Drew Ali told us we are not supposed to practice that. Not me, not what Rami says, not what Rami believes, what Noble Drew Ali said. And you see, if you ask me my position on how come I'm standing on this, I can point you to the literature and him saying, do not practice the principle of segregation. Oh, that was the other thing. The more something, and this is coming from the Moorish leaders' historical message to America in connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I deem proper to submit you a brief statement of our organization covering its inception, rise, and progress of the Mohammedan religion. I'm going to come on down. It's a very important speech, but I'm going to come on down to the part that I just want to read in specific, that specifically want to cover. The Moorish Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms of something new. Whatever their reasons may be for their opposition, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. I'm going to read that again. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all. Does it say it swings open to all Moors? No. Does it say it swings open to all Asiatics? No. Does it say it swings open to everybody but European so-called white people? No. It says the door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. Because, see, without religious freedom, no search for truth would be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked, and we would no longer march forward to the nobler life, which the future holds for the races of men. That's races with an S on the end of it, multiple. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow man for their religious beliefs. And if there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition. Possibly, love and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in this regard and prove that in mankind, tolerance is better than unwarranted opposition. My goodness. Read carefully the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It contains our hopes, aims, rules, and articles of religion. There we go. Alrighty. Jonathan Scott Bay. Question, Rami. Do you have any proof of any European joining the temple? I do understand and even agree with you saying that because it does not say the Europeans cannot join. To answer your question, when I was doing my research, I'm trying to remember where I saw it at. It may have been the FBI documents. I'm not particularly sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I'm almost positive I came across documentation of there being other nationalities in the temple and proclaiming their specific nationality. At the moment, I don't have that information to cite to you, and really stand on that for certain. That being said, getting back to what I just read, doesn't say anywhere that the Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America. It does say that love, true peace, freedom, and justice is supposed to be taught universally in all nations and all lands. It does say that we're not supposed to practice segregation. It does say the European nations are helping the prophet. That's what it does say. So I tend to stand on the things that Noble Drew Ali said, at least in this Moorish literature in the Holy Quran, Circle 7. And that we're supposed to be uplifting fallen humanity. To me, that includes European people because they are part of humanity. But what I will say, Jonathan Scott Bay, also, you know who would be great to answer this question with some certainty and finality so that we can know moving forward, is this true or is this not true? Can Europeans join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Do you know who would be able to answer this question definitively and could make it, a ruling, if you will, or, a statement of fact, if you will. The Supreme, oh, there you go, there you go. What do you know? There we go. That Supreme Grand Council, would you look at that? Because they will be able to clarify and put out the message to all the temples to tell all the members. But you see, we've ran into that problem again. Rami, you didn't brought up that Supreme Grand Council. And see, the Moors in America, the Cujos, the such and such, and the such and such, and the such and such, everybody is quiet on that part. I wonder why. I wonder why. Could it be, once we had clarity, we no longer had this confusion, and a lot of these people that's capping, this selling wolf tickets, this causing the confusion, well, they will be out of a job. Just my opinion. I don't know the particular reason. I don't know. I'm just doing what I can to speak on it. But I can tell you people be very quiet. You take from that what you will. Is there any other questions? Peace of Dorothy Home. I don't see any other questions. No. Is there any other questions in particular in terms of European, quote-unquote, white people joining the Moorish Science Temple of America? And also, again, Moors have to stop. We have to stop trying to blame Europeans and looking at Europeans as the enemy. You got to stop. It's ourselves, in particular, our lower self. Don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Flip on over to chapter 3. Okay. I'm going to read it for you. There are two selves, line 5. There are two selves, the higher self and the lower self. The higher self is the human spirit clothed with soul made in the form of Allah. The lower self, the carnal self, the body of desires, is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. Skipping to line 21. Skipping to line 20. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with shadows of a thought. The only devil from which men must be redeemed is self, the lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. And if man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior, love, will be exalted to the throne of power. Philip Jones. Good bill, brother. Still disagree, but good bill. Here's the thing. You can feel how you want to feel. You can say you disagree with Noble Drew Ali's teachings, but Noble Drew Ali's teachings are just what they are. Now, if you disagree with him saying to not practice the principle of segregation, that's on you. I can't force you to understand and accept the teachings. How you feel is how you feel. The issue I have is with people like the Moors in America, brother, who take what they feel and try to push that as what Noble Drew Ali taught. There's a difference. How you feel is your feelings, your opinion. That's for you. You can feel however you want to feel. What you can't do is say, my opinions and how I feel is what Noble Drew Ali said and what Noble Drew Ali taught. That's what we cannot do. That's incorrect. That's misleading the people. Question everything. Without the Supreme Grand Council, how does one join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Are we still paying dues? Great questions. I don't know. Who are we paying dues to? Where is the Supreme Grand Secretary? Let me double check that. Yes, the Supreme Grand Secretary, the Supreme Grand Business Manager were both a part of that Supreme Grand Council. And all the dues and all that money, yes, would have to, at one point, get to them because they would have to account for all of it. A national treasure, if you will. And if we don't know who those people are, if we don't know who the Supreme Grand Business Manager, and we can't contact the Supreme Grand Council, then how do we know where our dues are going? How? How, Sway? We don't know. And that is another problem, which is why I consistently have been speaking about the Supreme Grand Council. But don't nobody want to talk about that. I wonder why. Let's sip some more tea. Jonathan Scott Bay. Hey, great question. I can't give you that answer. I don't know. This is why I keep bringing it back to that SGC. We got to get some things squared away. Stop trying to blame the Europeans. Stop trying to blame this person and that. Stop trying to talk about the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan. I've seen some person being disrespectful to Farrakhan. It's like, why do we continue to try to point the finger at everybody else? But our house is dirty as... It's all a bunch of stuff that's out of order. As far as the temple is concerned. Just completely out of order. Not following the laws and the rules and the structure that Noble Drew Ali created. We not following it. But then we got the nerve to talk about other people and what they not doing. You got Moors just looking down on so-called black people. You know, they don't realize they're Moors. We not doing what we supposed to do. If nobody is occupying those positions, then we need to host a meeting and fill those positions. Hey, man, very reasonable, logical thinking. But it has to be done as a nation, as a collective. Everyone has to be aware. It can't just be some small group and they just put some people in place. Because what you'll have is this temple say, well, I don't recognize those people. And that temple say, yeah, I don't recognize them either. And we just going to do our thing. And the cycle continues. See, what I was explaining to my daughter the other day. The name of the game is divide and control, divide and conquer. That's the name of the game wherever you look. Left versus the right, Democrat versus Republican, progressive or liberal versus conservative, East versus West, Blood versus Crip, black versus white, Moor versus European, straight versus LBGQ2, all of these are divisions. Temple number 1 versus temple number 25. The name of the game is to keep us divided. That's the name of the game, which is why we have to come together and be among. We have to have unity, but we got to follow the example and the rules and the laws that Noble Drew Ali laid forth. We can't do it the way we want to do it. That's the key, because that's what's led to the disunity and the fracturedness, the fractured state of this Moorish Science Temple of America, this Moorish Divine and National Movement. Because this group said, I'm going to just do it the way I want. And this group said, I'm going to do it the way I want. And I'm going to try to create my own movement. And I'm going to do this. And it's allowed to happen because more division is better. That's how we are controlled. That's how that's how the confusion, that's how the stagnation, the misleading, all of this, the corruption, all of this happens because we're divided. Hey, and this leads me back to the last thing I done said in many videos where I talk about the Supreme Grand Council. We can mark it for 1 year straight to bring everybody together. Jonathan Scott Bay, you cannot have 3 Supreme Grand Council. I agree. Here's the thing. You preaching to the choir. I'm on board, baby. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the national meeting. Everybody come together, all the temples from everywhere, this grand sheet. Yeah, let's all get together. Let's have ourselves a little powwow. Let's have ourselves a talk. It's everybody else we got to convince. You telling me I'm ready to go. When I got to buy the ticket. I need to start walking. Let me get to walking. Let me get on my pilgrimage. You know what I mean? It's the other Supreme Grand Sheiks and this person and that person that claiming they honor Noble Drew Ali and claiming they doing the teachings. Please talk to them. Please ask them about the Supreme Grand Council. Say, hey, man, when are we going to address this? And don't say, well, because Rami said, no, because Noble Drew Ali said, baby, don't put it on me. Don't do that. It ain't on me now. I'm simply just providing the information. Noble Drew Ali established this. Noble Drew Ali is the prophet. Noble Drew Ali is the leader. We're supposed to be following his example. Not such and such with the Moorish militia, and not such and such with this one and that one and the third. What Noble Drew Ali said. Yeah. I think I done covered just about everything I wanted to do. Yeah. I think I done covered everything I wanted to do in terms of clearing up the confusion on that. And just let me close out again saying, let me summarize again saying, to any Moorish American, any Muslim, any member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, anyone that you see saying or teaching Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America, simply ask them, where did Noble Drew Ali state that? Where did Noble Drew Ali cite that Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? You ain't got to debate them. You ain't got to get frustrated. Just simply ask them, can you please show me where he said that? And then when they take you to that line and it doesn't say that, just understand, just know that person is either severely misinformed and not comprehending, or they comprehend exactly and they are trying to mislead you. They are trying to cause confusion. They are practicing the principle of segregation, which Noble Drew Ali told the leaders of the temple specifically not to do. Not my opinion, just the facts, baby. And you can take it, you can leave it alone. I'm just trying to give you the information. And I didn't see anybody else. I didn't see any other questions about Europeans. I didn't see anybody else try to say, oh, well, what about this line, Rami? What about that one, Rami? If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem, Moors. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National and Divine Movement. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it on that one. What about he who hath been an enemy line? I don't even want to look up that line. But again, does that line say Europeans cannot join the Moorish Science Temple of America? Philip Jones. No, sir. No, sir, it does not say that. Now, if you want to interpret, if you want to take that line and, in your opinion, apply that or take it to mean that, then you can say that and you can believe that. You can feel that way. I don't feel that way because of the information Noble Drew Ali said. Because of statements like, we must not practice the principle of segregation. It says they cannot be a friend. Does that say it cannot be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, good brother? It does not say that. We're not talking about who can be a friend and who's an enemy. Because if we are gonna go there, if we are gonna go there, if we are gonna go there, when man fails after being placed head of a temple by the prophet of obeying our divine laws and constitutions, he is a traitor and an enemy of the divine creed. It says, what Noble Drew Ali said, March 11, 1929, when man fails after being placed head of the temple. So we not even, let's just assume this is just talking about Moorish Americans, Moors, right? When man fails after being placed head of the temple by the prophet of obeying our divine laws and constitutions, he is a traitor and an enemy. So what about that person? If they betray, if they fail and they do not obey the divine laws and constitution, they're considered a traitor and an enemy. So is that person not allowed? They're not European, though. So that enemy line doesn't just apply to European people. You got to get out of that Moors versus European. That's not what this is. The European is not our... You got to stop thinking the European is my enemy. The lower self. That's what we had to be redeemed from. That devil within us all. And still that is not talking about who can be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right. Yeah. I don't see anybody else. Didn't see any more quotes, any more statements, people trying to interpret as such. Moors, we need to focus on following what Noble Drew Ali said. Stop trying to be segregationist. Stop trying to hate other people. Got to work on ourselves, our lower self. Got to lead by example. Got to love instead of hate. Have to uplift fallen humanity. We have to help and make sure that love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is being taught universally to all nations in all lands. That's the key, man. Love is the key. When you truly move and operate with that first principle of love first, you get past the color of the skin, the content of the character, like my man said. You feel me? That's a great way to close it on out. Dorothy Home. Real growth happening here. Division is the enemy. Division is the enemy. This is for the uniting of Asia. You talking about, but we ain't gonna get into all of that. Love instead of hate. That's how we do this. That's how we teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice universally to all nations in all lands. Yes, even our fellow the European brothers and sisters up there in Europe, in the cold, yes. Them folks too, the Russians, yes. Yes. The Germans, yes. The Italians, yes. The Irish, yes. Because we got to uplift fallen humanity. We got a big job to do. So stop it with the hate. Love. That's the way. Follow Noble Drew Ali. Stop following these people that just say that they teaching what Noble Drew Ali taught. They just say they honor Noble Drew Ali. Read what Noble Drew Ali said and use that as your foundation for all of this. Use Noble Drew Ali's teaching. Not what Rami said, not what Todd said, not what such and such said. What did Noble Drew Ali say? And then move on that. All right? Much love to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tapping in. Please study. Please read what Noble Drew Ali said. Don't believe what people say just because it sounds good, just because they got the feds. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Taught universally to all nations and all lands. All right now. Much love to you. Keep shining. Peace.